Test 6, mic 6.
You're in charge down there, Ross. Good job, buddy.
Good evening, and welcome to the Nevada Unified Special Meeting, Board of Trustees. If you all please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, thank you. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next agenda item, which is approval of the agenda. But I do want to let the public know that Trustee Aguila is attending by phone. She's a little under the weather and decided not to be here, but will be participating by telephone. So, trustees, I have need a motion to approve tonight's agenda. It's a fairly light on items, but can I approve? I have a first from Trustee Milrick and seconded by Trustee Jacobson. So all those in favor?
And Marie, you vote in favor?
Yes.
Marie votes in favor. Yes.
So 7 in favor of the approving the agenda and 0 against. So having done that, we're going to move on to the item number 3, which is discussion action, which is a public and consideration and action regarding the petition establishment of the Healy School, which is a charter school. And the board has the staff report and the Healy response in front of them. But what we're going to do is open up a public hearing regarding the Healy Charter School petition. And we will then turn it over to our counsel, Bill Schutz. So I'm going to tap the gavel and open up public hearing and recognize Bill Schutz, our attorney, to present.
Okay. Good evening, trustees. Thank you. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. My name is Bill Schutz. I'm with the law firm of Danis Waller Kelly. We're legal counsel for the district. The petition for the establishment of the Healy Charter School was submitted to the district on August 31st, 2022. As required by the Education Code, a public hearing regarding the petition was held on October 11th so the board could hear and consider the level of support for the charter petition by teachers and other employees of the district and parents and guardians. Pursuant to Education Code 47605, the board shall either grant or deny the petition within 90 days from receipt of that petition. Tonight's evening is within that 90-day period. After the petition was submitted, a team comprised of district staff members and legal counsel conducted a comprehensive review of the charter petition and accompanying documents and provided input relevant to their areas of expertise in preparation for the findings and recommendations included in the staff report that you have. As required by the Education Code, the staff report contains staff's findings and recommendations. It was posted on the district's website starting on November 4th, as also required by the Ed Code. So subsequent to the posting of that staff report, it was brought to the district's attention, actually by the petitioners, that their website does contain a translate button. That when it's pressed, it translates the content of their website to Spanish. Even though that translate button is only in English and not located at a prominent location on their website, when it is clicked, it does translate the content of their website to Spanish. So while the links to that Spanish translated website that are on that website, school brochure and the enrollment interest forms, they're still in English, even though the links, the words themselves are in Spanish. The actual documents are in English. So therefore, the staff is proposing a correction to page 13 of the staff report to remove the content stating the website content is not provided in Spanish. Additionally, it was also discovered a typographical error on page 4 under number 1, which is related to the finding that the charter is demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement their program. Under paragraph 1, it should state that the petition presents a deficient and unrealistic financial operational plan consistent with that section heading. So based on the review team's analysis of the petition documents, it's been determined that more than one of the legal grounds for denial under Education Code 47605 exists, and staff is recommending denial of the petition. Specifically, as supported by the written findings included in the staff report, it has been determined that the petitioners are demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement the program set forth in their petition. The petition does not contain a reasonably comprehensive description of all 15 required elements, and the petitioners are demonstrably unlikely to serve the interest of the entire community in which the charter school is proposing to locate, giving consideration to the fiscal impact the proposed charter school will have on the district. So accordingly, staff is recommending that the board take action to deny the petition for the establishment of the Healy Charter School and adopt the findings in support of that denial under Section 5 of the staff, Roman numeral 5, of the staff report as the board's written findings in support of the denial, with the two corrections I mentioned earlier to page 13 regarding the website and page 4 regarding the typographical error. So as required by the Education Code, the petitioners are to be given equivalent amount of time to present in response to my presentation just now, staff's recommendation and findings. So with that, I will turn it back to you, President Kemp. After hearing from the petitioners, the board will proceed with the public hearing prior to taking any action regarding the item. So thank you.
So looking for my timer on the number of minutes that. Okay, so by Ed Code, then we're going to allow an equal amount of time for the petitioners to address the board at the public hearing. So if the petitioners are ready, this would be the time to come forward.
Hi, happy holidays. I just wanted to answer questions. We submitted a 13-page staff response. I'm assuming everyone received that and read that. If you didn't, now would be the time to speak up. I don't know if anyone had any specific questions. I know today is the 90th day from the day of submission, and I didn't know if you guys had questions. I mean, we went through each and every point that was presented in the staff findings and extensively wrote about our response. I'm happy to read it if you'd like, but I thought someone might have a question.
So during the public hearing process, it's primarily an opportunity for people to speak and to address the board, so we can hear what people have to say. It's not a dialogue format. So if that concludes your remarks, then.
This isn't a public, well, it's a special meeting, and typically there's questions and answers. So I was inquiring if anyone had any questions.
It's possible that some will come up during the action portion of tonight's meeting, but during the public hearing portion, it's for you to respond to our initial council's report, and then we're going to hear from the public.
Okay, so I'll read the beginning part of our petition. And can we restart the clock since that wasn't clear?
The board okay with giving them 4 minutes from now? Okay. So, yes, we'll go ahead and listen to your presentation that you mentioned.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to connect with NUSD and the Board of Trustees relative to our innovative and value-added charter school. We write in response to the district's staff report, which includes proposed findings of fact and a recommendation for denial concerning Healy School's establishment charter petition submitted on August 31st. Recognizing the myriad demands on the district staff, we nevertheless believe that the published staff report does not present an accurate of the Healy School petition. We urge you to carefully consider the following information in evaluating the staff report before taking action on our charter petition. Disappointingly, the staff report is founded on speculation, conclusionary statements, cynicism, and positions inconsistent with the law, and fails to cite to actual facts that could lawfully support the denial of the petition. Thus, under the law, because Healy School has satisfied its statutory obligations, the petition warrants approval. We refer the district to the provisions of the Ed Code that provide specific guidance to governing boards to approve the establishment of charter schools. Ed Code Section 47605C states, In reviewing petitions for the establishment of charter schools, the chartering authority shall be guided by the intent of the legislature that charter schools are and should become an integral part of the California educational system, and that the establishment of charter schools should be encouraged. Although the district cites to section 47605 in the staff report, it seems to have disregarded the emphasized language above in its review and analysis of the petition. Indeed, this statement of legislative intent from the Ed Code must set the foundation on which the district staff's work preceding the trustees' considerations take place. Yet, as demonstrated further below in Healy School's response, and by the removal of the critical instruction from the legislature, the district staff has not operated from the mandatory default position that charter schools are and should become an integral part of the education system, and that the establishment of charter schools should be encouraged. Then we list the Ed Code, the reasons for denial. That the governing board of the school district shall not deny a petition for the establishment of a charter school unless it makes written factual findings specific to the particular petition, setting forth specific facts, one or more of the following 8 findings. And we clearly go through each of the recommendations to deny and have our response, and anyone who wants a copy of this, I'm happy to provide it to them. Accordingly, under the Charter Schools Act, a school district board of education is required to approve a charter unless it makes specific written factual findings to support a denial based on the grounds enumerated under section 47605, setting forth specific facts specific to the particular petition before the chartering authority. The staff report's findings are not valid grounds on which the approval for the charter petition may be denied. As demonstrated below, the findings are based on inaccurate facts, incorrect legal interpretations, or go beyond the requirements set forth in law. Therefore, the findings constitute an impermissible basis for the denial of the petition. We note that many of the findings concern matters that could have been resolved by a collaborative discussion with district staff or in a mutually agreeable memorandum of understanding. We were disappointed that neither of these options were presented by the district, but we stand ready to begin a collaboration at this stage. As demonstrated in the narrative below, the findings in the staff report are based on speculation, inaccurate facts, or go beyond the requirements set forth in law. And therefore, the findings constitute an impermissible basis to justify the denial of the Healy School Establishment Charter petition. And again, we go through everything. And I will just read the conclusion since I have a few seconds. As described above, Healy School respectfully requests approval of a 5-year charter term. Healy School is a thoughtful approach to educating NUSD elementary school students to develop the academic and social skills they need to close the achievement gap that exists in our community. There is no other resilient studies program in NUSD elementary schools, and petitioners believe this program will be a significant benefit to families and students in NUSD, as well as the greater Marin community. Petitioners are open to discussion before, during, and after the special meeting that is convening today. We genuinely look forward to a constructive conversation and the ability to work together.
All right. Thank you. So now that we've heard from our council along with the petitioner, are we going to open up the public hearing to public comment? So we have a total of 5 individuals that would like to address the board. So I'm going to go ahead and call them up in order, and we'll hear from them. And since there's only 5, we'll stick to our usual 3-minute per limit. So when you come forward, I'll call your name, and then I'll also give the name of the next speaker so they can prepare. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board on the subject of the Healy School Charter Petition. Our first speaker is Joe Allen, and then Stephanie Erickson.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm a parent of 2 students at Rancho Elementary School. Thank you, trustees, for the opportunity to comment on this proposed charter school petition. I spoke previously about my concerns over adding an additional charter school to Novato and how NUSD is one of the only a few districts in Marin classified for the LCFF state funding formula. The rest of Marin school districts are rich in transplant residents, leading to much higher property tax rates. They are allowed to keep all the excess property tax funding for their schools in a designation known as basic aid. NUSD is a good school system dealing with the realities of budget shortfalls due to poor California state funding models that punish communities with lower home turnover rates. Approving this charter school will make our current financial situation worse and will lead to either further program and teacher cuts, or worse, the closure of a school due to the resources it will siphon from the district. I implore the school board to follow the guidance from NUSD staff report and deny the petition for the Healy Charter School. The petition states that the school will focus on Healy School's The Healthy Brain curriculum, which teaches students how their brains work and what they need to do to become resilient. The actual curriculum, or even a detailed overview, isn't provided in the petition. The descriptions of what will be taught for each grade are self-referential to resilience, without ever defining specifically what skills and concepts will be taught to students other than resilience. What little there is reads more like a marketing pitch for a self-help book rather than a document to help educators, school board trustees, and parents evaluate a school's proposed curriculum. There's no evidence provided that this curriculum has ever been trialed in a school, or elementary or otherwise. The charter petition makes a lot of different claims with no evidence as proof that they are true, such as they have collected interest forms from parents interested in sending their children to the Healy School, yet no evidence or data as to how many parents have expressed interest or whether these families reside in Novato is provided. I guess we're expected to consider these claims as fact based on trust alone. For all these claims about the purpose of this school, I would assert that Novato is already pretty resilient. Our students and community went through a COVID remote learning, followed by a divisive 7-11 committee process that pitted schools against each other in a hasty attempt to close an elementary school. When Marin County stepped in to halt the school closure, we rallied as a community to support NUSD's budget concerns, their various committees, and community action. Even when 30 educators were let go at the end of the school year, our students and community were resilient, and the district grew. What our students deserve is stability. They deserve to be able to go to class knowing that their schools will be here for them through graduation. They deserve to sleep well at night without worry that their school might be closed or their favorite teacher might be let go. If the Healy School's charter is approved, I fear that all of our families and students might need to learn even how to be more resilient all over again. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to our next speaker, which is Stephanie Erickson. And after Ms. Erickson will be Stan Bransgrove.
All right. Good evening. My name is Stephanie Erickson. I have an MED in Curriculum Studies. I'm a parent of 2 NUSD students, elementary school students, and I'm a proud supporter of public schools. Tonight I'm here to show my support for the district's recommendation to deny the charter school petition. While the district has outlined 3 reasons for denying this petition in their document, they also write, and I'd like everyone to know this, they also write this report does not exhaustively list every concern, error, omission, or deficiency in this petition. There are many red flags within this petition. I'd also like to remind the board about the concerns our community members shared at the October 11th public hearing. 7 parents stood before you with concrete concerns about the financial impact of another charter school, who this charter school would serve, failure to include signatures of interested families, a non-existing resiliency curriculum, and the lack of experience in formal training of the lead petitioner. Most importantly are the concerns about the lens through which this petition was written. This petition was written through the lens of someone who clearly lacks a background in multicultural education and critical pedagogy. A person who claims she has never heard the term white savior before and can't even see the implicit racial bias within her own petition. Instead of listening to the comments from parents, reflecting on our concerns, Ms. Healy also told the Marin IJ, and this is a direct quote from the October 12th paper, "My main takeaway from the hearing was that it's clear our team needs to do a better job reaching out to the people that need us. Ms. Healy, the concerns raised by our community are more than a PR problem. What you have is a petition for a charter school that does not offer our district anything that is not already covered in our current classrooms. Furthermore, you are far from being equipped to address the needs of our diverse student body. To approve this petition would be a slap in the face to our equity imperative, and it would be fiscally irresponsible. I ask the board to solidly deny this petition on the grounds presented by both the district and the community you serve. To Ms. Healy, I ask that you drop this petition. To strong-arm your way into the charter school through the appeals process will only show an inability to listen, reflect, and learn from this process. 3 vital skills of any effective educator. Please accept the results. The community and the district is not interested in what you are selling. Thank you.
Okay, so our next speaker is Stan Bransgrove, and then we'll be followed by Domenico Giampoli. Please state your name when you come up, so my butchering of it doesn't go on the record. So, and then just as a reminder, this is a public hearing for the Novato Unified School District Board of Trustees, and we want to hear what you have to say, but please address the board when you're speaking to all speakers. Mr. Bransgrove.
Thank you. Good evening, trustees, superintendent. My name is Stan Bransgrove. I am a labor relations representative, and I work for the California School Employees Association. CSEA is the exclusive rep for the classified employees here at Novato Unified and most of the other districts throughout Marin, and is the largest classified union in the state. I'm here to state CSEA's organizational position in support of the staff report and the staff report's recommendation to deny the Healy Charter Schools petition. CSEA's mission over the years has been well stated. Its mission being to improve the lives of our members, students, and the community. And while most people, I think, look to CSEA as a bargaining agent, we take equal measure in the importance in improving the lives of students and the community. When we look at the Healy Charter School petition and the staff recommendation, a few things really leap out. One is the failure in the petition with regards to special education. Another are those failures with regards to English learners. These are all reasons that leap to our mind and to the CSEA's recommendation that the denial recommendation be followed. This community relies on the Novato Unified School District and relies on the diverse education and the district's ability to serve all of those students. These will not be matched by the Healy Charter School. The Healy Charter School petition is deficient in those respects. So again, without belaboring the other points for which we are also in agreement with the staff report, CSEA urges adoption of the staff report and denial of the Healy Charter School petition. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Domenico Giampoli, and our final speaker will be Bella Smith.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Domenico Giampaoli, and I am a father of 2 in the Novato School District. I'm here to support our students, our schools, our principals, our superintendent in their decision-making process and their ability to run healthy, stable schools. I'm here to encourage the board this evening to act with wise counsel. So tonight I'd like to call into focus one word: leadership. Please keep this in mind as you make your decisions and as you consider new actions moving forward. I've watched in the past 10 years as declining populations of our demographics for students in our schools have decreased, leading to declining budgets. We are also facing 2.5 years ago the rejection of voters for parcel tax extension. 1.5 years ago we faced the considerations of the closure of an elementary school. And last year we pink slipped 40 teachers and made significant budgetary cutbacks. Watching some excellent new hires seek reliable employment elsewhere. Pink slips do a lot of damage, and it's all too common in our district. So we face these realities as a district. The responsibility of this board is to lead within the real constraints. I'd like to encourage you not to entertain wishful thinking of individuals, of proposals for new schools or existing schools that are expansionary in nature during periods of time that are contractionary in nature. We don't have the renewal of the parcel tax. The voters spoke in the lack of confidence of the district's ability to use funds wisely 2.5 years ago. We know all too well that our campuses have room for more students. We have been living in the specter of school closures, teacher terminations, or some other form of drastic cutbacks for years in a serial fashion. Please lead us in a way that safeguards and stabilizes. Please use foresight and caution in your planning. Please listen to what your schools need. Listen to the superintendent, to the principals, and consider what they need as a baseline to do their jobs. Think of your current schools and the sacrifices these learning environments have faced. And if our budget isn't increasing, how can we carve out more money from this shortage? So your wise counsel is required on behalf of our current schools, on behalf of the superintendents and the principals' mission and vision to provide safeguard and to provide safe and healthy, stable learning environments for our students. So with that encouragement, thank you.
Okay, our next and final speaker is Bella Smith.
Good evening, esteemed trustees and Dr. Derby. My name is Bella Smith, and I'm a mom of 2 NUSD San Marin students, but previously my kids went to Lou Sutton, Linwood, and Rancho post-lottery, the 3 schools that almost closed last year. In the daytime, however, I'm a nurse practitioner at a UCSF-affiliated teaching hospital where I work as a primary care provider, and part of my job as a primary care provider is to read recent medical research, look at it for validity, and see if it's valid enough for me to use that research to improve the care of my patients. While there are many reasons to deny this ill-conceived charter, the Healy School, my focus on my remarks to you tonight focuses on Ms. Healy in particular as a poor choice for the director of a publicly funded school, that's her term, and as someone heading a publicly funded school in Nevada in particular. Well, it might seem unfair to single out Ms. Healy this way. If one names a school after oneself, I think it behooves us to know who that person is. Ms. Healy is primarily an author of pop psychology books on how to raise children. Well, she states she has a doctorate in the petition in psychology. She does not appear to have worked as a therapist or done the research that she discusses in her book. She states she's an educator, but does not hold a California teaching certificate or appear to have had any in-classroom experience for decades. She states in her petition that she has managed million-dollar budgets for large corporations, but provides no verifiable information on the specifics of this for readers of her petition, even though that's true. She's recruited for her co-founder and her board of directors people exclusively from expensive private schools in San Francisco and Marin, with average tuitions ranging from $50,000 to almost $60,000 a year annually. This is more than a lot of families in Nevada make. None of her Healy group has any experience in public education, and she's asking us to give her $14 million over the next 5 years of money from public education to start the school named after herself. Ms. Healy appears to be very out of touch with the Nevada community, even though she wants to base her school here, especially the NUSD community, making a comment to the Marin IJ reporter, education reporter, after the 10-11 board meeting, during which she submitted her charter that NUSD was not cash-strapped or had budget issues, 1 year after the near closure of an elementary school, which roiled the schools here that were targeted for closure and made news in both the Marin IJ every week for weeks and on TV. She is so out of touch with this traumatic episode on the NUSD community 1 year ago that she actually quotes Chris Koska in her petition, the superintendent non grata, who was in charge during the school closure and was removed by Mary Jane Burke and replaced, thankfully, with Dr. Derby. Hi, Dr. Derby. We're so grateful to you. I can't keep going?
No.
All right. Just a one-liner. this is the wrong person for a publicly funded school, for all those reasons, and I'll submit the rest of my comments by email.
Thank you. Okay, so just to check in, that's our final speaker. No one has come forward, so I'm going to close the public hearing, and we'll go back to our regular meeting amongst the trustees to discuss the item. So public hearing closed, and now I'll open it up to the board. You have the staff report and the recommendations, so and would anyone like to make a comment or have questions for council tonight? Trustee Gasson.
For context, I do have some questions about the process. I saw that if the board denies the petition, that it would go to MCOE, and I saw reference that it could only be the document, the petition that they originally submitted. Is that correct? Or can they, because they did that subsequent letter, does that also follow with the petition?
No, it's submitted as it was presented to you, except to allow for changes to reflect the county board as the authorizer.
Okay, so the petition as presented is what goes forward to MCOE if it's denied here, correct? Okay, and then our response is solely the document from the report that we're reviewing tonight?
The staff report is what staff is recommending, the findings in there, and recommendation is what staff is recommending be adopted by the board in support of denial. And that's what would support the grounds that for denial.
Okay, so it's
Currently, the board is discussing the action item amongst itself. The time for public comment has ended.
It's a correction, and the response is incorrect. That's why it's a correction.
well, I'm going to go with the attorney since he's the legal guidance that we're going with. So now I've gotten off track of my question. Okay, so it's the petition, and then the response that we have is the two things that get, if she asks for it to go to the county level, those are the documents that go.
The petition and the county board reviews, if it were submitted on appeal, will review the petition de novo, which is a legal standard to mean as if it was submitted to them for the first time. They can have different findings, same findings. They're not tied to whatever decision was made by you, by this board. They can take it into consideration just like anything on the record.
Okay, my purpose for clarification was solely because there were some inaccuracies in the additional, the letter that she submitted. I just wanted to understand what goes, if she appeals, what would go, and what we're doing right now. So that's, I understand.
The charter is supposed to be legally compliant upon submission. And to the extent they submit other things to supplement that later, you're taking action on the petition as submitted to you. And the staff report and the findings and recommendation is based on that petition as it was submitted.
Okay, so you guys have any more questions or comments to make? So I'll take that to mean that everyone sort of maybe made up their mind on the issue. So I think it would be at this point to ask for a motion and a second if the board is prepared to do that. And then after a first and second, I'll come back and just check in, make sure everyone had something to say, and we'll just follow procedure to the best of our ability. So at this point, Trustee Milrek, you're recommended.
For this item, I would like to move the recommendation of the staff, superintendent and staff recommend that the board deny the petition for the establishment of the Healy School Charter School and adopt the findings in support of denial under the Section 5 of the November 14, 2022 staff report as the board's written finding in support of the denial.
And would you be willing to amend that motion to include the amendments to the staff report, which were around some sentence structure on page 4, and then the removal of the website word on
with the
page
corrections that were shared with us this evening? Yes, those two items, okay. So they become part of the record. Yes.
All right, thank you. Seconded by trustee Gasson. Okay, so, all right, then I think that we're ready to move ahead and call the question. Trustee Aguila, I just want to make sure that you're recognized to see if you have any questions or comments.
No, thank you. I can hear well, and I've been taking notes, and it's very clear. Thank you.
Okay, so before we call the question, I'm just going to say that I'm going to vote in favor of the recommendation to deny this petition. I think that staff has made it clear that this is not the right organization to bring a charter school to Novato. I think I won't go over all the reasons. We have the report, but I think it's, for me anyway, it's a clear decision that this is not the right organization and effort or attempt that would benefit Novato public education further. So therefore, I will be voting to support the motion. Any more comments? Then I will call the question. All those in favor of the motion to approve the recommendation has been.
Can I? Is there a discussion?
Yeah, I'll recognize you, Trustee Aguila. Go ahead.
Okay, so well, I just wanted to say that first of all, I wanted to thank Maureen Healy for bringing this forward to us, and for the time and the efforts and for the energy to put this together and bring this to us. This can be easy, and most of what I was going to say has already been said before, but so I'm not going to say too much. But I just wanted to let the community know that anyone that knows me knows that I'm always, in favor of school choice and options, and what better thing for Novato people to be able to just have the different options. However, having said that, I've seen, and not that Novato Unified School District cannot handle some of the stuff that we didn't agree with in this petition. I'm sure that our current charter school wasn't perfect when it started. However, we need the energy, we need the time, we need the people, we need the resources to have this. We don't want to just approve it. We want this to be successful. And I have to say that sadly, it's just not the right time. I financially, especially, we find ourselves in a very difficult time, and I just wanted to put that in the record that I'd like to encourage any other future charter schools to come forward, and don't want this to be to discourage anyone to come forward again. But this is definitely not the right time for NUSD. Again, and we need a lot of resources and to be able to help us be successful. And right now, as it is, it's just not set up to be that way. So that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Trustee Aguila. So I'm prepared to call a question if that concludes our comments for the evening. Then all those in favor of the motion to accept the recommendation as amended.
You want to ask her?
And Trustee Aguila, aye. All right. So that is 7 in favor, 0 against. So the recommendation will be adopted. Okay. So that being our only discussion action item on the agenda tonight, I am prepared to adjourn. So good night. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We are adjourned.